The USA Archery 2020 U.S. Open is brought to you by True Ball and Excel and Matthews. Also brought to you by PSC Archery, Hoyt Archery, Black Eagle Arrows, and Elite. Welcome back to the USA Archery 2020 U.S. Open in Richmond, Virginia. We are set for another gold medal match. Greg White sitting alongside Braden Galantine, multi-time world champ in compound archery, as we are ready for the compound senior women's gold medal match. And our number one qualifier heading into this one is Toja Ellison out of Arizona. And Toja, for a lot of people, she is eligible by the rules to compete in the United States, as this particular tournament didn't have anyone from the United States, and she is our first qualifier, and she'll be shooting against Paige Pearce out of California, as Paige is trying to figure some things out. As Toja,
frustrated by the wind already and hasn't even shot an arrow.
Wow.
Great start. Great start.
It is windy here. The clouds have covered up, and the wind is starting to pick up again.
Wow.
And Paige with a solid 10. Braden Galantine, this is your wheelhouse, compound archery, man. What are you doing to compensate for this wind that's blowing pretty harshly from the right to the left?
Right, so the archers have three real choices to deal with the wind. They can click their sight so that they can aim in the middle. They can bubble their sight, which means you're leaning your top cam into the wind to try to manipulate the direction of the arrow. Or you can aim off, which means you can guess where the arrow would land downwind and aim the appropriate distance upwind, so the arrow still strikes the middle.
And this is different scoring than we've seen so far in bare bow competition.
Correct. Toja is bubbling over. You can see that her bubble's laying over on the left side. Where Paige, you could see she was kind of confused when she first got out there and reefed on her sight so that she's aiming in the middle.
There you go, back on track. Now, this is different scoring than we've seen before. Tell us what it's about.
So we're still at 50 meters, but now we're running an 80 centimeter target, so that the 10 ring is about 2/3 the size as we saw with the 122.
And scoring is cumulative scoring?
Correct.
Throughout the entire match?
5 sets of 3 arrows. So before we saw set points being doled out each end. This, you see 29-28, and that is your score.
So really, if you look at it for Paige Pearce, yes, she lost that single point with, over Toja with that 8. But it is not absolute disaster just yet.
Exactly. She has, 12 more opportunities to pick up that single point. And in this wind, there should be a few more points up for grabs.
Now, so far in the USA Archery 2020 U.S. Open, we've seen bare bow competition, but when we come to compound bows, the speed of these arrows can really make a difference in terms of how you aim the bow. Is that correct?
Right, exactly. The speed of the arrow dictates and the mass of the arrow dictates how much wind drift you're going to see. So these girls are probably shooting about 250 feet per second, 255 feet per second. Toja may be shooting a little bit faster because she's a strong lady and she shoots about 60 pounds, whereas Paige is shooting around 54 pounds.
Mm-hmm. So here in USA Archery, there is a poundage limit in terms of your peak poundage when you pull the bow back, and that is 60 pounds. So competitors in this category try to keep it at their comfortable level and not obviously at max, because they do check if you want to come out and shoot a USA Archery tournament. Any archer can come on out and shoot it. As long as you have the category that you want for your bow, you can shoot the bare bow, you can shoot Olympic style recurve, which we'll see later on, or of course compound. You can come on out and shoot, and as long as your bow meets the requirements, you're good to go. So Paige Pearce, who's been on an absolute tear over the last, year and a half at least.
Yeah, she's been zoned in.
Has been winning tournaments all over the place. And of course, very interesting times for a lot of us during COVID to continue to stay motivated during those times. Since Paige is at 21 to 29, she starts off. 20-second shot clock, 7 seconds remain. And
She's going a little long on this shot.
So she let that one go with 4 seconds on the clock.
Looks like it's a low 9. Still hanging the line. The arrow needs to just touch the line to score the higher value. Clean shot for Toja. It was fast, but Now, in addition to needing to figure out the left and right and, the up and down as far as the headwind tailwind is concerned, they also have to aim where they want to aim. And as you can see from this video, wow, the wind is really affecting Paige.
Ooh.
Affecting her, but not affecting the result.
I guess not. A good solid low X. And of course, the X has the same value as the 10.
It's just used for tiebreakers, for world records or things like that, but not for the actual match. What a shot from Toja.
Great shot. So far in our second end of competition, all tied up at 19 apiece. And looks like she's
got the 10 there. As you can see from her follow through, that arrow broke a little bit low left of where she wanted it, but with the English and the follow through, she's able to save the shot. Good shot for Toja, another 10.
Well, you could just see the way that she went through her shot cycle, that she was confident.
Yeah, you can really tell a lot by the form and the follow through of the archer. If it's powerful and directive, you know that it was a clean shot and it was what they were expecting, so it's probably going to land close to the middle. And then when you see someone with the corrective follow through, you can make a guess as to where they threw their arm into where the arrow is going to impact.
Compound senior women gold medal match finals for the 2020 USA Archery U.S. Open. Another look at Paige Pearce on her release.
It looks for this end, it's a 29-29, so this will be a 1-point advantage for Toja, and Paige will be shooting first in the third end.
We have 5 ends of competition. If we get to the end of the 5th end and we have a tie score, then what happens?
Then we'll be shooting a single arrow close to the center. Unlike barebow or recurve, both archers would need to shoot an X to force a second arrow.
And if you're looking at the targets, you can see the 10 ring, but inside that 10 ring is a fainter, smaller circle, and that is the X ring. So Toja Ellison, who has been in the United States, is married, of course, to Brady Ellison, Olympic recurve standout, who has been on an absolute rip himself. They've been shooting a ton. And really, we could see on social media that Toja Ellison was getting prepared to come shoot this tournament. As thinking back to it, Braden, if you really think about it, the last time we were able to shoot outdoor USA Archery was really close to 11 months ago.
That's true. That's incredible to think of it that way.
So,
normally outdoor season starts in April.
Right. And so if you think about it from that perspective, is there a difference between coming to a USA Archery event and shooting in competition for a national title or for a gold medal or whatever, as opposed to sitting on your practice range and just shooting 50 meters?
Oh, absolutely. Your form, your timing, the conditions, it's stuff you can't duplicate at home. So normally by the time we're shooting nationals, everybody's shot the entire season and they're at the peak of their games, whereas this is kind of like the start. And it's so strange to be starting where we're normally finishing the season.
For Paige Pearce, you can see in her right hand she has a thumb trigger release, something new for her. She'd been shooting wrist release and a variety of other releases over the years.
So both of these athletes are actually using a thumb trigger. So they draw back, they place their thumb on the trigger, and they pull with their thumb until the shot breaks. When we see the men's compound shooting later, they're going to be shooting back tension releases, which are basically firing off of a lever.
So a little off to the right.
Strong shot for Paige. I think the wind may have died down a little bit.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Looking at the flags downrange from our vantage point, you can see that the wind has died down a little and shifted a smidge, and oof.
Just off left. She could tell that it broke a little bit further than she wanted to.
So currently a 2-point advantage for Toja Ellison, our #1 qualifier coming into this event.
There, Paige made the proper adjustments and was able to come through with a good 10 there.
Absolutely dead center.
Toja can take a commanding lead here, 2 points with a 10 here. Oh, just to the right, so she's noticing the same thing Paige did. With that right impact as the wind's getting a little less. So that's probably why that low left arrow hit closer to the 10 than she was expecting.
Yeah, and you could kind of see too, right at the end of that shot process, that she wasn't as confident as she was. Toja Ellison, we're talking about, on that initial release.
She looked incredibly confident. She, nodded her head as if it was going there. So I think that arrow really landed as a shock for her.
So another unique thing about Toja Ellison shooting,
Yes.
she's currently pregnant.
Yes.
And so she's out here competing, and boy, I'll tell you what, the pregnancy doesn't seem to make any difference to her
No,
at
it hasn't
all.
slowed her down at all. She's coming off the win at OPA, and I mean, just last week she was posting videos of the baby kicking in her stomach. So it's like it's crazy that she's clearly it's making a big effect on her life at home, and just to be able to keep up the training schedule that she has, it's really impressive. So you can see the nod. She thought she had that arrow right in the middle and running into the same thing Paige did.
It is baffling too, isn't it? When a shot, as we say in archery, breaks perfectly and everything feels great, and you just think, oh, that one's just headed for the middle, and it doesn't land there. It just baffles you, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I had an arrow in qualification where I thought I shot a 10. I aimed, I saw the wind coming right to left. I aimed towards the right 9/8 line, and my arrow landed left 8. So I had about 20 inches of drift on that single shot, which was just mind-blowing to me.
Sheesh. I think it needs to be noted. Congratulations to you on your bronze medal.
Thank you. Yes, it was a difficult morning, but I'm glad to have come through the way I did.
So bronze medal for Braden Galantine as we are headed to our 4th of 5 ends in the compound senior women category, the gold medal match to be decided between Toja Ellison, who has a 2-point lead over Paige Pearce. Paige will start first with that robin's egg colored bow. She's had a couple of those.
I remember when she first had one sent out, it was kind of the color. It was a take it or leave it color, and it's definitely grown on me.
And me too. Definitely a fan favorite and part of why archery is such a great experience. As she sends
10.
one down, yeah, good 10. Paige always available to talk to fans. Toja Ellison trying to hold that bow as steady as possible in this drifting breeze. So
Generally, as an archer goes longer in the shot, you're going to see an impact switch to the right. It means that they've lost back pressure and they're coming away from their face a little more on the execution itself.
interesting. There's a lot of movement in her bow on that one.
Yeah, the wind's going, and you'll notice that one major difference between their bows is Paige's only has about 4 ounces. No, she's got 18 ounces of front weight now, and Toya's always run about 20 herself. That's just one improvement Paige has made with the heavier bow, mass bow. And you'll notice that her back bars are pointed up, and what that effectively does is shortens their effectiveness of the weights. So she could probably achieve the same balance with a shorter rod.
Ah, gotcha.
So you can see Toya's bubble over on the left side. Too much.
A little bit too much.
28-29, tie ball game.
Wow, just like that. A shift, and we're all tied up. So this is going to make things interesting. Another great shot at how the wind is whipping these flags around. And it's one thing about USA Archery competition is when you're actually out on the field of play, not the gold medal match, but the field of play, every target has those flags on them. So it gives you a really good idea when you're competing.
Right, you can see what's coming and what's, how your next shot may be affected, whereas here it's in that moment.
Additionally, on the field of play, if you're shooting regular elimination rounds or you're shooting qualification rounds, USA Archery will provide kind of in the middle of the field, I guess maybe 25 meters downrange, a windsock.
Correct.
That'll be on each end as well.
Yes.
Because it is interesting, when we shoot out on these open fields, like football field we're on now or soccer fields, you may think wind would blow consistently across 50 meters, but it is not always the case.
You can get some crazy swirls.
Scores being double checked. As from our vantage point, now arrows get pulled, and we'll be heading back to the shooters.
All right, so now Toya will be leading us off.
So we're tied at 114 apiece, heading into our final end of competition. Braden mentioned it before. If we have a tie at the end of this one, we're going to a 1-arrow shoot-off closest to the center, unless each shooter shoots in the X ring. And then we'll go to a second closest to the center arrow. So an opportunity here for Toja Ellison being your first shooter. You're in this situation. Is that what you prefer? If you're heading in this exact situation we're in, would you like to be the first shooter or the second shooter?
Absolutely, you'd want to be the first shooter. You want to shoot your arrow. You want to put the pressure on the other shooter and just kind of like set the pace. So, I mean, Toya has the advantage no matter what. If she shoots a 10, Paige knows she needs a 10. If she shoots a 9, Paige will start getting in her own head, knowing that she needs a 10 to take the lead or a 9 to tie. So it's like it's complete advantage. There's no thought involved. You just send your arrows the best you can from the first position.
All right, so 10-second clock to indicate you're ready to go. And now her 20 seconds begins. Is Toja Ellison 3 arrows away from gold?
Could hear Brady there cheering.
Yeah, we could hear her husband say, great shot.
One of those unique voices that always stands out.
And that was exactly the pressure she wanted to put on Paige.
Paige looks pretty steady here. Yeah, good answer. What a reply.
We have got a boxing match going on right now. Toja Ellison gets contact with the barrel of her release. Ooh, it looks like 9/8 liner, so that's going to score the higher value, but...
That's a 9. It's about half an inch inside the line.
All right, so the door is open. To capitalize for Paige Pearce, it's got to be in the middle.
It's aiming pretty solid, yeah.
Wow.
There it is, another X.
All right.
So now Toja needs a 10 here to put the pressure on Paige, because that's a big 9 ring down there.
Oh.
9 at the bottom. So Paige just needs a 9 to win the match.
Wind is still blowing. It can get gusty though for gold. 5 seconds left on the clock. 3. She sends it.
Oh, it's an 8. We're going to be shooting off.
It's going to be a shoot-off. All she needed to do was put it in the gold. And for Paige Pearce, and we've seen it, that's twice now in this match, Braden, where we've seen her drain that clock down to like 4 seconds.
Right.
And it's just been an 8. Oh, man, and that's the thing about this particular match. You know, when you're shooting your normal qualification rounds, you have 6 arrows and you have 4 minutes. There's plenty of time, or even in eliminations, 3 arrows in 2 minutes.
Exactly, you can let down. Here you only have 20 seconds per arrow, and you need to draw back and make the most of it. And if your shot goes long, you know, to the 4 or 5 second range remaining, your muscles are breaking down. You're holding your breath this entire time, so you're not, you know, you're not thinking as clearly. You're getting a little foggy, and it's very easy for that 9 ring to shrink, and for the 8 to come into play.
So some drama has built here for the USA Archery 2020 U.S. Open Compound Senior Women Gold Medal match. At the end of regulation, 5 ends of competition, we are all tied up 142 points apiece. Just looking at that score alone, I mean, 142, I think, is for considering the conditions that we have and under the pressure of a gold medal match, I think 142 is a very, very good score out here in these conditions. But we're going to a 1-arrow shoot-off closest to the center.
And Toja will be leading off again. She chose to shoot first the first end, so anytime there's a tie, it'll revert back to the shooter who shot first for the event. For the match.
Could you ever in the middle of, or why would you ever want to divert and say, oh, no?
Sometimes if the conditions are extremely different than the practice venue or anything like that, and you're going to use that arrow to learn, that would be the only time I could see giving up the opportunity to shoot first.
But it's available within the rules for you to...
Right, not mid-match, but at the beginning.
At the beginning, I got it, okay. All right, so once you set your course, you're set. Tate Morgan, of course, Paige Pearce's boyfriend, her requested coach to talk things over with, and I'm sure there's got to be a little bit, there's either diversion or some type of calming down at this point, because...
Right, they train together every day, and he knows how she thinks and the right things to say. So he's definitely doing his best to get her refocused and at the job at hand.
A good shot at Toja Ellison's equipment and what she uses to try to capture this gold medal. Interesting rest. You can see by her thumb just above it that spring. What is...
Right, that's a drop away rest. As she draws back the bow, the rest goes from a down position to an up position, and she shoots, and it drops away before the arrow goes by, so it leads to a cleaner arrow flight.
Indication from our judge that, as Braden said, Toja Ellison will shoot first. So here we go. Gold medal match on the line for the 2020 U.S. Open here at USA Archery. Toja Ellison will shoot first. If each one of these archers is able to shoot an X, we're going to go to a second arrow. But all the pressure's on, and this is what archers live for. This kind of pressure.
And we're off. Going a little long in the shot.
A good solid 10.
So if Paige shoots anything 10.5 or better, she'll take the win. Clean shot. Oh,
dropped it to the left.
Toya's the champion.
Toya is the champion, so gold medal for Toja Ellison. To the crowd's delight back here. And look at the sigh of relief. I mean, just letting out the air on that one. Unbelievable for Toja, for Paige, Pearce. She'll walk away with a silver medal. Guaranteed, as she'll go over and congratulate. As we normally see, outstanding sportsmanship here in USA Archery competition. The judges are downrange confirming those results. It's Toja Ellison walks away with the gold medal and a future that has the possibility of shooting for the United States in on the USA Archery team for World Archery competition, to the delight of many. I mean, the strength of the USA Archery women's compound team in the world is outstanding already. The addition of Toja Ellison would just be unbelievable.
You're right. Exactly like you said, they're already a powerhouse, and if we can add another amazing shooter, it's nothing but good things.
We've seen Linda Ochoa Anderson, who married Steve Anderson, moved to the United States. She is now on the USA team, but today the day belongs to Toja Ellison, who had an outstanding shoot. So Toja, it's Greg White here. Congratulations.
Hi.
What an amazing accomplishment, and what an arrow you had at the end. Tell us about your match.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a tough match. It's always a tough match against Paige. It was. I feel the whole week or weekend, whatever you want to call it, was tough. But yeah, that arrow, I was just a good strong shot, and it broke good because it was windy. And in my head, I was just like, wait for it, be patient, because I was just a touch long. Wait for it, and then it broke. It was good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right,
Thank
so
you.
that is the compound senior women. Toja Ellison, your gold medal winner. More coming at you from Richmond, Virginia. Still plenty of matches to come here at the USA Archery 2020 US Open.
Announcing the new patent-pending CarboFlax stabilizers. A biocomposite blend of carbon and flax. Flax plant yields a natural fiber with very advanced properties. Flax offers 3 times the vibration dampening of glass and 20% more than carbon. Natural composites are up to 15% lower weight than carbon fiber. TrueBall Excel. We make archery better.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
That's a good feeling to know I can make this bow do whatever I want it to do and it will react.
This thing is just so much more stable and it just controls an arrow so well.
Coolest part about it is all you need is a Torx wrench and a couple of Allen wrenches and you can just stand there on the line. You don't have to run in and put it in the press and move those shims. This is a dream to work with right now.